Oh, hello. Welcome once again to Stuff and Things, where I like to talk about stuff and occasionally even things. I'm your good friend Bradley, and today is a very pleasant Sunday Stuff and Things. And on this pleasant Sunday Stuff and Things, we have many stuff and things to talk about, including upcoming videos, things that you can look forward to on Stuff and Things, working, and Stuff and Things plays. We're going to be getting into what I look for in a pipe blend. I do reviews all the time, I do first impressions all the time, and some people react negatively when I react negatively to certain blends. And they say, well, I really like this. What is it that you want in a pipe blend? So we're gonna talk about that, and then maybe you guys can have a chance to give your opinions in the comment section as well. I think it'll be an interesting discussion. And then of course, we have your questions, comments, and feedback in hashtag askstuffandthings. So let's get into it. All right, so lots of stuff coming up on Stuff and Things, working, and Stuff and Things plays. The things coming in the immediate future. On Stuff and Things, we're going to have a first impressions video of the Nyx boots that I was sent recently by Ben from stitchdown.com. They are the Urban Logger model. They're not made as work boots, which I find kind of interesting because they're so bulky and burly and just tank-like. They have really big tread. They seem like work boots to me, but I guess they're more in their, fashion range. People who want to wear things that make it look as though they might be a logger or some sort of manual labor, but they aren't actually. But for all intents and purposes, they're work boots. They look like work boots. They act like work boots. And I've been wearing them at work. We're gonna have, well, we'll get into that in a minute, but I'm really excited about these boots. You may notice that I've been talking about them a lot, but I really like them and I think they're really cool. And so this first impressions video is going to be me just discussing how I felt about them after wearing them a couple days at work. I'm gonna be just, it's gonna be like a table talk where I'm sitting there cleaning the boots, conditioning the boots, and telling you how I have felt about them over the first couple days of wearing them. Next thing on Stuff and Things will be the full review of SPC Down Yonder. My first impressions video, I didn't dislike this, but I was a little meh about it. Things may have changed, so be sure to stay tuned for the first impressions video. That'll be coming out not this week, but the week after. And then on working, we have working episode 12. This is also dealing a little bit with the Nyx boots because again, I'm excited about them, but just showing a typical day, well, not a typical day, actually kind of an atypical day in my job. I'm working out near Birch Bay, Washington, really cool landscapes and views, setting up a driveway and just showing kind of the paces that I've been putting those Nyx boots through. So check that out. I think I'm gonna call it Boots Matter because boots do matter in work, especially if you have a manual labor job or you work in the trades and you're on your feet all day long. Footwear matters, definitely. And then on Stuff and Things Plays, the Tears of the Kingdom series is continuing every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. The game is amazing. And I had a little issue lately where basically my capture card, my webcam, all the stuff that I was using to record the gameplay videos just completely went on the fritz, and I had to totally revamp my entire system or just sort of reset everything, and I was having all sorts of problems. I was still able to make videos, and but for a couple, I think 2 or 3 videos, I was having issues with the webcam settings and stuff, but everything's worked out now, so I'm back into making videos, and I'm really excited to finish Tears of the Kingdom just because it is so interesting and I think the story is so good, and I think you would like it if you watch that series. So all sorts of stuff coming up, and there are many things I'm not mentioning here, but these are just the most recent things coming up on Stuff and Things Working and Stuff and Things Plays. Stay tuned. All right, gang. So if you watch this channel, there's a pretty good chance that the reason you watch this channel is because I do a lot of videos on pipes, pipe blends, and stuff like that. I do lots of videos on other things too, but a lot of you are here for this stuff. Some of you get kind of annoyed when I don't like a blend that maybe you like. That's fine, you know, we all have our own opinions, our own preferences, and there have been some people who have asked me, you know, if you don't like this blend, blend A, what do you like? And of course, I can always point them to Peterson Elizabethan. It's my favorite it's weird to even say favorite, but it's the blend I have had more than any other blend. It's something that I can always enjoy no matter what my mood is, no matter what's going on. It's a blend I'm always gonna like. There are blends that might be better than that. I'm not saying it's the best blend, but it's the blend that I enjoy the most. But I don't want to just say, oh, I'm looking for another Elizabethan, because that's not really the case. So what am I looking for in a pipe blend? Well, I have some criteria here. We're gonna go over mechanics, components, flavor profile, strength of flavor, and then the nicotine or the nic amount in the blend. So if we start with mechanics, I like a blend that is not too difficult to deal with. Now, these rules are not absolute. There are definitely exceptions to this. There are certain times when I don't mind dealing with a plug, slicing it up, rubbing it out, doing all the preparation that you have to do, the drying time, all that stuff. It's fine in certain situations, but in general, I prefer either a ribbon cut or a crumble cake, or a coarse cut, but something that I don't have to put too much effort into preparing beforehand. So I love the STG ribbon cuts, the things that you will find, or the kinds of cuts that you will find in something like Elizabethan mixture. And then I really like a lot of the GLP's crumble cakes, because you can just take a chunk, rub it out, and it's super simple, super easy. It loads easily into the pipe, tamps easily, easy to deal with. Also mechanically, I don't love blends that are a constant headache as far as relights, blends that become very, I don't know what word you could actually use, coagulated into the bowl, where you have to do a lot of aeration or mess with the blend when it's already in the bowl. I like things that you don't even really have to tip very often, that you can just tamp it down, keep relighting, and just go until there's nothing left. That's not super common, but blends like that do exist. So mechanically, usually a ribbon or a crumble cake, especially the STG ribbons or the GLP's crumble cakes, something that doesn't require too much effort when I am enjoying it. Components. So I guess this goes into what kind of blends do I enjoy the most? Am I looking for Virginia blends or burley-based blends, English blends, aromatic blends? I tend to gravitate towards straight Virginias or heavy Virginia blends. I really like vapors. I like straight Virginias. I like flakes. I mentioned mechanic ease, but I don't mind dealing with the flakes sometimes either. I don't really have, there's nothing that I wouldn't enjoy or wouldn't try except for the very, very strong aromatics. Typically though, I will tend to go more towards a Virginia-based or a stronger component of Virginias in the blend. So obviously, formerly Dunhill Elizabethan, currently Peterson Elizabethan is one of my favorite blends. I love Gawith Full Virginia Flake. Now that's a flake. I said I don't usually love flakes as much. I like things that are simpler to deal with, but that blend is so good, and the flake, the fact that it's a flake adds to the fact that it's very good. There are exceptions to all of these rules. These are just my tendencies. I don't usually go for burley-based blends as much, or for Darkfire Kentucky blends as much. I can enjoy some of those blends, but they're not what I would reach for first. I do love a lot of English-based blends and blends with Latakia in them. But yeah, I guess if I had to pick one kind of blend, it would be a Virginia-based or a vapor, maybe even a straight Virginia. But I can love everything. But that's kind of what I would go for. Flavor profile. Now this is such a vast topic. It's difficult to pick just one flavor profile that I'd be looking for. But with Virginias, I like something typically that's on the darker end of the spectrum. Red Virginias, matured Virginias, darker, richer, more bready, not as sharp, high, grassy, maybe a little bit of fruit, a little bit of citrus. With English blends, I do like a pretty high portion of Latakia in there. I enjoy that. Burley blends, I don't know. It's hard to say that there's a particular profile I enjoy, but if I'm contrasting one type of straight Virginia to another type of straight Virginia, Even though I can like the really grassy hay-like Virginias, I tend to go more for the bready, matured Virginias, that kind of flavor. And then the strength of flavor, I don't go for super mild blends very often. I like to taste the thing that I am essing in my pipe. But it doesn't have to be super full flavored for me. So I'd say maybe kind of medium, right in the middle is probably the sweet spot. And then for the Nick, I can have pretty much any range. It doesn't matter that much to me, except if something is super strong, and what is super strong to me is probably going to be very strong to a lot of other people because I have a pretty high tolerance. But something like, I don't know, a crazy strong rope or something like that, I can have it and I can enjoy it, but I'm not typically looking for that. I don't want to feel dizzy. I don't want my throat to close up. I don't want my stomach to get upset. And depending on if you've had any food or what, just all sorts of other factors that are hard to quantify, it can really hit you and really affect you. And I don't want to feel anything necessarily when I'm having a pipe. I just want it to be, you know, nice medium Nick level, I think, is perfect for me. So those are pretty much my criteria, but they're not really criteria. Those are just my general preferences, and obviously there are exceptions to all of these. But what are yours? I would love to know in the comment section below. All right, gang, but now it is time for hashtag Ask Stuff and Things. Remember, if you have a question for me and you would like it answered on the Sunday Stuff and Things, tweet at SAT Bradley with the hashtag Ask Stuff and Things. Is it even called tweeting anymore? Nobody really uses Twitter anymore anyway. Or if you are a Patreon supporter, you can write to me via Patreon, go right to the front of the line. You can hit that super thanks button under this video, go right to the front of the line, or you can leave me questions, comments, and feedback in the comment sections of my YouTube videos. First, feedback from last week's Sunday Stuff and Things. This is from our good friend at Colin Kelly 279. I have a vast array of heritage boots. I was talking about the Nick's boots last week, and find that nearly every single company is 1/2 to a full size smaller. Sometimes you can rectify it with sock choices, but it takes some time and blistering. So yeah, that's something that I have discovered, is that if you are like I am, a 10.5 in athletic shoes, so like in Adidas or Adidas, in Nike, things like that, I'm usually a 10.5. But in old style heritage boots, I am usually a 10. I'm typically a 10.5 in dress shoes, but in boots, for some reason, I'm usually a 10. So it's usually half a size smaller for me. And those Nick boots that I got are in a 10.5, and I do think they're about half a size too big. They're not so big that I can't wear them, but they probably would be perfect if they were a 10. Next, from at Church Ether Music 4750. Nice boots, Bradley. I'm a Red Wing Iron Ranger guy myself. Those are nice boots. I like those. I really like how they look. They're really classic, just great looking boots. My brother has a pair of those. Rose Anvil did a breakdown of Nick's, and they seem to be some of the best. Can handle a beating, that's for sure. Yeah, I haven't seen that particular video, but I know that Rose Anvil is someone who cuts boots in half to see what they're made of. And while I think that's very interesting, sometimes I don't see the utility in that, because I think it can lead to this sort of false idea of what should be in footwear or should be in a boot. But it's interesting. It's interesting for sure. And yeah, I think the Nick's, as far as I can tell, are just, it's just leather, giant slabs of leather, and obviously it has Vibram rubber soles on it, but just tons of leather, tons. It's like double stitched. There are screws in the bottom. It's just completely overbuilt and crazy. At Michael Case 8574 asks, are you going to continue the Stuff and Things Timeless Style series this fall and winter? And yeah, I definitely have plans to make more timeless style videos. I really enjoy those videos. Those videos take a lot of work and preparation, and it's just, I think I still have a couple things that I would like to highlight in that series, but as more things come up and as I am inspired to include more things in that series, I will definitely be making more of those videos. Next, from Ortsi Landa. Beautiful Nick's boots. I just joined your Patreon to help you to reach your desired goal. Thank you so much, Ortsy Londa. Now, we have some feedback from the first impressions video for Down Yonder, Sutliff, or Seattle Pipe Club Down Yonder. At Shock and Awe says, oh, and that was a super thanks. Thank you so much, at Shock and Awe. Glad they send you blends to try, and of course appreciate your honest opinions. Cheers. Yeah, and I'm really thankful for Sutliff for sending these blends along as well. I feel kind of bad because I'm not always super positive about the blends, but I really do appreciate it. It's cool to be able to check them out. Next, from at Paul Rouleau 2392, cliffhanger. It will be interesting to see if you found more depth to this blend in the full review. One just never knows until they light it up. Yeah, and if you didn't watch the first impressions video, I was a little meh about it. Things may have changed though, so check out the full review when that posts. We have at Carl Kessler 303, that's my thing with Sutliff blends. They smell great, but they don't taste like much. At Carl Lamari says, SPC has never been good with Virginias. They have grown some great Balkans. They have some great Balkans though. Plum, Pudding, Hood, Canal, and Mississippi River. I don't know why I said it that way. The rest I've tried are meh. Their Vapor Galloping Gertie is not good. I didn't love Galloping Gertie, that is true. But yeah, there are plenty of really good Sutliff blends. And then we have from our good friend at MDoftheNorth, thanks for the impressions. Down Yonder definitely doesn't seem to be a substitute, but I've been looking for blends similar to my beloved McClelland Dark Star. This sounds a little thin, but I might give this a shot for shoots and giggles. Yeah, it's been so long since I've had Dark Star. I don't know, maybe if anyone has any Dark Star around and they've had it recently and they've also tried Down Yonder, they can let MDoftheNorth know. But any other people who have suggestions for a replacement for Dark Star, there is a little bit more going on with Down Yonder that I have noticed since I did the first impressions video. So definitely check out the full review in that post. But yeah, McClelland Dark Star substitute. Let MD know in the comments below if you guys have any suggestions. But now, gang, it is time for the very best part of the show, and that is where we thank our Patreon supporters. Remember, if you would like to support the channels on Patreon, there is a link in the description box below, and we're on a drive to get to $105 subscribers. I want to get a new editing workstation, and it is so much appreciated, the support that people on Patreon give to the content that I'm producing. It helps pay for the camera, the lights, all that good stuff, products for review. And if you would like to support the channel, as I mentioned, link in the description box below. But every week we shout out those who support the channels at $25 or more. People like Glenn Dunnington, Jason Buckner, MDoftheNorth, who we just heard from, David Gaudreau, Finn O'Hagan, Ryan McFadin, Arcturus, Ashes of the Phoenix, and Jonathon Proctor. And of course, the Maniacs, the crazy people who support the channels at $100 a month, people like Bob Magee. And we'll never forget our dearly departed friend and Hall of Fame member, Peter Straub. Gang, thank you so much for watching. Please, if you haven't yet, subscribe to this channel. Go check out Working, subscribe to that. Check out the Tears of the Kingdom series on Stuff and Things Plays. Stay tuned. I don't have the boots here because they're filthy dirty. But stay tuned for the first impressions video for Nick's boots, the full review of SPC Down Yonder, a new episode of Working on Monday. And remember that if you're our Patreon supporter, you can get all my Stuff and Things content early and ad-free, except for Sunday Stuff and Things, which posts on the same time on Patreon because it's Sunday Stuff and Things, but it is ad-free on there as well. So, until next time, until we meet again, I've been your good friend Bradley, you've been the audience. This has been Stuff and Things on a very pleasant Sunday Stuff and Things. I'll see you later.